could Jesus heal people by touching them? That's a pretty prominent in the stories in the New Testament of the Bible. Jesus was able to touch people and heal them from paralysis, from being blind, deaf, leprosy, being a mute, anything you can imagine, any disease. People could touch his cloak. He could think about people and heal them. But I thought of an interesting connection to that, because I was thinking, well, is there any basis in modern times for that kind of power, that kind of, being able to touch someone and heal them? And an interesting connection is from the Law of One, the raw material. The Law of One is a channeling session with a sixth density being, a very high level being, with a professor is talking to this being through a channel. Her name is Carla Ruckert. The professor is Don Elkins. And anyway, in the introduction to the Law of One, in the very first book, book 1, Law of One, they talk about psychic surgery. And now psychic surgery they actually went and had it. But Carla Ruckert, who was the one channeling Ra, she was in a trance, had psychic surgery done to her in, I think it was South America. She went down there, and they had these people who live in very remote places, and I think they're very devout religious, very, very religious people. They pretty much live in seclusion. They still live by themselves in the mountains or in the woods or whatever. And they've developed the ability to heal people through touch, just like Jesus. And there's stories on this, and I'm sure there's quite a bit of research. I haven't gone into the research myself, but it is an interesting topic I would like to look into more. So Carla Ruckert, they went down there and they brought in the person and they scanned their body with their hands, right? And then they know where the problems are, and then without any instruments, they from the account they gave, the body opened. And they put their hand in there, and they were able to realign organs and pull out any blockages and stuff, and heal people through surgery. This is called psychic surgery. And this is an account they gave in the introduction to the Law of One. Professor Don Elkins and Carla Ruckert who went to have this performed, I think, multiple times. And the psychic surgeon fixed something in Carla's ovaries, which she never told anybody about except for her mother. And she went and got them checked out by a doctor after, and they're all gone. I think she had cysts on her ovaries. So we have here an instance of healing by touch. And let's look at the similarities between, let's say, Jesus and maybe some of the psychic surgeons. Jesus was well known to have gone out praying to God, and I would assume meditating as well. It's basically the same thing, very long, intense prayer. It's like meditation. He'd go out into the woods. He did 40 days. He fasted for 40 days, right? He'd always go up into the mountains and try to get away from people to pray for a long period of time. And this is akin to meditation, for a long period of time, meditation. And we can, and we know that, just like the Buddha, through some of these ancient spiritual texts, a lot of these high level spiritual beings, such as Jesus and the Buddha, were said to have developed some of these abilities, right? So Jesus was a very high level. He's kind of like the Buddha. He kind of reached nirvana. He broke through the illusion. What is the illusion? What is this illusion? What is the matrix? What do we live in right now? Everything we can see, anything we interact with our senses, any of our senses, as part of the illusion. This physical reality is the illusion. So every second we spend with our eyes open and our ears open and our thoughts going and our mouths going and taking things in, we are caught in the illusion. So to break out of the illusion, break out of the matrix, the physical matrix, what do you have to do? What is the opposite? You go within yourself and you cut out everything. And so that's what Jesus did. That's what Buddha did. Buddha just meditated for a very long time in the woods, and he reached nirvana. He broke completely out of the illusion. He was able to conquer all this base level sense nonsense. And that's a big part of his teachings is giving up sense gratifications. You know what I mean? Which is one of the most difficult things you can do, especially with eating. Because I've been recently, I'm a fruititarian, which means I eat mostly fruit, and and it's been very difficult for me, even though I know I'm trying to eat 100% fruit, to actually do that, because my food programming is so deep, and in my imbalances in my glands and my, probably my pituitary, thyroid, and everything. My adrenals and kidneys are down, and my kidneys aren't filtering. I'm still working on that, but what I'm saying is very difficult. And I've seen a quote that says, if you can conquer what you eat, if you can control 100% what you put in your body, and have it only be for the highest nutritional and spiritual and mental well-being for you, and it's not for sense gratification, you're not eating it because it tastes good or because you want it. If you can control that, you've pretty much, you're very high on the mastery level, self-mastery level, and that's very difficult. So even for me, eating all fruit is very difficult. But so that's self-mastery. So that's one thing. So we're looping back into the meditation, and Buddha talks about non-attachment, because if you're attached to things in the illusion and Maya, in the illusion, I think that's from the Upanishads, yeah, or is it the Bhagavad Gita? I don't know, one of the two. And so you got to detach non-attachment, and then you got to withdraw completely from all your senses from the illusion. And that's what Jesus was able to do, and Buddha, and a lot of similar ancient religious and spiritual beings. And basically, he broke through this whole nonsense and was able to connect to the divine, to God, to God consciousness. And once you do that, you kind of like the superhero Dr. Manhattan. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a big blue guy. Look up Dr. Manhattan from The Watchmen, and look up what he can do. Some of his powers. He's basically a god, pretty much. He can travel anywhere instantly, which the sixth density beings said they can do. They've achieved all these powers. They can teleport anywhere in the universe instantly just by thought. They can manifest anything they want by thought. Dr. Manhattan could do that. They said the pyramids were built. Ra from the Book of One said the pyramids were built like that. One of the pyramids, at least. So anyway, coming back to Jesus being able to heal. That's interesting, right? Because you think about it, if he was one of these high-level spiritual beings, and most people who develop those abilities don't necessarily go out and make it well known, which is interesting. So let's think about that. Well, not that Jesus told people specifically, listen, I healed you. You don't tell anybody. Oh no, Jesus, listen, Jesus, I was paralyzed. I was paralyzed my whole life, and I literally touched you. I touched you, and I'm not paralyzed. I can walk. I'm sure no one's going to notice. I won't tell anybody. Don't worry about it. I'm sure no one will notice. You know what I mean? No. But he did tell many people not to tell them that what he did. Raised a girl from the dead. He's like, yeah, don't tell anybody. But again, so he ended up having thousands of people follow him, because they heard about it. They're going to know, you know what I mean? And people would just people would just rush to him, carrying their sick, sometimes dead. And anybody he touched, he would heal. He'd just be like, heal, heal, heal. It's like so he was able to develop that power. I mean, he walked on water. He did a lot of things. He had 5,000 people listening to him talk, his teachings, right? Because he pretty much reached the point of unity with God, God consciousness, and he was able, according to the Bible, was able to break 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish for like 4,000 or 5,000 people and feed them. But again, let's go back to developing those abilities through his level of spiritual enlightenment, his connection with God, right? I mean, if we say he can heal people by touching them, which is feasible if we know about psychic surgery, and we know about the people who's they're very they spend a lot of time meditating, and they spend a lot of time connecting with Source, with God, you know what I mean, with the Creator, and they've managed to break through the illusion enough to develop these powers. So it is, again, all these stories, if you look at it from that perspective, and from a spiritual perspective, obviously, they very well, could be true, and probably are. He's going around, he's healing people. You know what I mean? He spent a lot of time in the woods just meditating, praying. And people heard about it, so there'd be, of course, there's going to be people following him everywhere. And of course, there's some priests that were like, yo, or some Pharisees, like, dude, you can't just go around healing people. And Jesus is like, What's the problem? He's like, you know, you're making us look bad, dog. If you're going around healing people, if you're making paralyzed guys walk, if you're making a blind guy see, what am I doing? You know what I mean? You're making me look terrible. You can't be doing that, dog. Yo, we got to do something about this Jesus, dog. I mean, he's going around healing people. Who? Why? Why would you want to heal anybody? That's ridiculous. Why would you want to help people who need help? This guy's making us look real bad. We're trying to make money off people. We're trying to control people. This dude's going around healing people. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so I think Jesus could heal people. Absolutely. He brought people back from the dead. Think about that. What kind of power, what kind of connection do you have to God? Obviously. I mean, we know. But I'm just saying, it's crazy to think about. To bring people back from the dead. Whoop! You know, your soul went away. Maybe your soul is still there. And he's like, nah, why don't you come back for a minute? I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. Healed people from leprosy instantly. It's like, whether leprosy just fall off. That's crazy, right? Because he had that kind of power. I just thought that was really neat. You know, a lot of the stories talk about how he healed people, how he did all these wondrous things. But I mean, let's look at the kind of stuff Buddha did. You know, and stories about him. I once read something that he could shoot like fireballs out of it. He could fly. He could levitate. And I'm sure Jesus could do all these other things too. It doesn't mean he did them or wanted to show them off. Because remember, most of the people who reach this, think about this. This is most interesting to think about. I bet you most of the people who reach that level of enlightenment, of connection with God, of the Creator, you don't even know about him. Think about that. What if these people were so in such solitude, and you know what I mean, spent all this time in caves that they reached that level and went out and just either went to the astral realm and stayed there, or just, you know, doing their own thing in solitude in the wilderness, wherever they are, in a cave. One guy spent like 20 years or something like that, 20 or 30 years in a cave, just meditating. Imagine what that guy could do. Come out of a cave after 30 years, like, it's bright out here. Meanwhile, just zap, 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 lightning bolts coming out of all my orifices. Zap, 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 zap. Lightning bolts, fireballs. I can fly, I can disappear. I'm about to go to Mars. Zim, 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 zim. Goes to Mars. You know what I mean? If you're in a cave for 30 years meditating, you can do whatever you want. This dude probably could own stuff. He's probably just flying around. You know how many people are probably flying around right now that have developed that? They can probably be invisible if they want. I don't know. Why not? X-Men definitely real. Okay, guys? But, so where are the real X-Men going to come out? You know, if they're going to come out, that would be a good time. You know, all the people with superpowers. That's the thing. Part of the spiritual process is when you develop these. I think they're called Siddhis. These powers. You're not supposed to use them, and you're supposed to just kind of be like, that's not what I'm here for. That's not why I'm doing this. It's for these powers. You got to keep going past that. That's some of the stuff I was reading was talking about that. Ram Dass, I think, talks about that too, which makes you think he probably had some interesting abilities he developed. But again, that's, if you're serious about the spiritual journey, then those aren't really the focus. Unless you, being able to heal people would be pretty sweet. It'd be a little easier than trying to eating fruit, even though that's what you got to do if you want to really heal yourself and cleanse yourself and cleanse your energy pathways. That's another thing. If you guys can get on 100% fruit for extended amount of time, you can heal your entire body. Sorry, I got a little cold, an exhaustion cold. I'm just exhausted. I haven't sleeping much. I started a new job framing houses. It's exhausting. I was carrying these big floor joists on my shoulder all day. Holy shit. Man, those things are heavy. I was carrying them shits like all day, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to sitting at a freaking desk, so I did not prepare myself physically for such an extensively physical job. That's all right. But anyway, if you guys can get on all fruit, this is kind of taking it. This is I've thought about this a lot too. So in terms of healing, Jesus could heal by touch, because they didn't know they were supposed to eat all fruit back then. They had no idea. You know what I mean? Unless you were already doing it. But I mean, they were eating pretty good overall, probably in terms of raw and non-poisoned food. But if you can get on all fruit, you can heal yourself. And especially if you've taken some experimental stuff, you know what I'm saying, you want to get on all fruit immediately, and this is serious, guys. This is serious stuff. You want to get on all fruit immediately for a few months. You got to get your kidneys filtering. I mean, I think part of my problem why I can't get on all fruit is I don't really have anything dire that I need to get out of my body or health issues. So maybe that's why I don't have as much kick in the butt as some other people might have to be strict about it. But I am trying. It's also difficult. It's a difficult process. I mean, you're trying to break your lifelong programming. Trying to break your lifelong. Just imagine every commercial you see. Like I'm thinking of my son, like watching this. You're programmed from the day you're born to eat the wrong foods, meat and dairy. Oh man, that shit's terrible. It's just poison for our bodies. It just causes all your high protein diets, cause all our health problems. And so breaking out of that, well, I am a vegan. I've been a vegan for over 5-6 years. But vegans, unfortunately, some people may think vegans are extreme for just not eating meat or dairy. But honestly, just being vegan doesn't necessarily mean you're healthy. You're still eating high protein. You know what I mean? And a lot of beans and grains. In terms of trying to heal yourself, I mean, sure, you'll be fine. You can probably be fine on that if you have no health problems, sure. But your kidneys still aren't filtering, probably, if you haven't done a detox or a fruit fast. Like 99% of people's kidneys aren't filtering. Your kidneys, unless you've gone on all fruit or fruit and veggies for a long time, are almost 100% not filtering. And you can test that by just peeing in a jar or a clear glass. And if your pee is clear, your kidneys are not filtering. You want to have sediment like a snow globe, stuff floating around in your pee. You can let it sit for an hour and see there's stuff at the bottom, sediment. That means that's all the metabolic waste and toxins and acids and stuff that's supposed to get out of your body. That's coming out. That's good. So imagine now, none of your acidic waste and your toxins you get put in you that are not good for you. They can't get out because your kidneys aren't filtering. They can't get out. They get stuck in there. That's what happens to kids when the kids get stuff poked in them, and almost every child, almost 100% probably of kids born, kidneys are not filtering because of their parents' genetics. Because your kids get the genetics you have. When you conceive a child, your child gets the genetics from the mother and the father at the time of conception, whatever you are. So mother and father, almost 100%, their kidneys aren't filtering, and they're lymphatically backed up a bit, for sure, because everybody is, unless you're eating all fruit, because that's the natural way. That's the only way to actually clean your whole body thoroughly. And but it's hard. That's why it's a process. So if you're trying to eat healthier at all, even if you're trying to incorporate more fruits and vegetables in your diet, it's a process. You know what I mean? Don't be too hard on yourself if you eat something else. But however, again, if you're kind of seeing some stuff that's going on that doesn't make sense, and you may feel like you got deceived, and you took something experimental, it's very important that you try to detox as soon as possible, because that stuff's not good. And just again, 100% fruits, berries, melons. Get some herbs if you want to. Go check out Dr. Morse's YouTube channel, Dr. Robert Morse. If you want to educate yourself on how to really take care of the human body, how to heal anything naturally, and how easy it is, and how we've been deceived for so long. Go check them out. Start eating that fruit, dude. I eat as much as I can. Some days I can go 100%. Sometimes I can throw a few days 100% of fruit. I've got up to 5, almost 10 days. I've gone some long stretches, but then you kind of fall back and you have some cooked food. But anyway, so yeah, you want to get those kidneys filtered, and everybody. And then we know. Then imagine knowing how to heal yourself, being your own doctor. That's what it is. That's what it's like if you learn about the fruits and the detoxification and the herbs, acids and alkalines, regenerative detoxification. You can heal your body. You can regrow parts of your body. You can heal neurological issues. You can heal people with MS can get out of their wheelchairs. People with paraplegic can get out of their wheelchairs. They can heal. You can fix. Guys, you should just listen to the stories he tells. Listen to the people who write into him. The people who write into Dr. Morse, who's a naturopathic doctor, are people who have been destroyed by the allopathic medical system, the chemical medical system, over decades. People be like, I got messed up when I got jabbed when I was a kid, and then they kept putting me on more pills, and I developed more issues, and now my whole body's just torn up. And then they hear about Dr. Morse, and they go, oh, all right. Oh, I hear people who have healed doing it this way. Let me check this out, the natural way, naturopathy. And then they go on all fruit and herbs, and they freaking heal everything. This one girl in my, I'll tell a couple more stories, and I'll wrap it up. I'm taking an intro to A&P class in naturopathy through Dr. Morse's school. His stories are amazing. The people in the class are telling. This one girl was in a skiing accident, and she had a really bad knee injury. She tore her meniscus or maybe her ACL really bad, and she has many surgeries and got a screw in her knee, and she ended up being in a wheelchair, and the medical doctors told her she would never walk again. This girl, she told us this story in my class. She said, the doctor said you'll never walk on two legs again. She found out about Dr. Morse. She found out about naturopathy, detoxification, the fruit. She went on all fruit, and I'm presumably herbs too, because you get some of the herbs that really help rebuild and strengthen tissue, and your whatever, your glands and your organs. And she was able to completely heal her knee. Medical doctors did mad surgeries, told her, put her in a wheelchair, and said, you're done. Allopathy. And she said, all right, well, I guess I'll do my own research. And oh, what's this? People can heal themselves completely and regenerate and repair the body on fruit and herbs? Like, what? And she did it, and she healed it. And now she's running and jumping and walking and doing all this stuff again. Think of all the people who are in wheelchairs right now, because the medical community, the allopathic community has said, you're sorry, nothing we can do. We don't know. When we went to school, they just told us to give you whatever chemical we could, and then we got nothing. We can help all those people. I've been educating myself on it as much as I can. I basically, and then you take your health in your own hands. If you're putting your health in someone else's hands, it's not a good idea. You're going to get taken advantage of. I can 100% guarantee it. So, it's just really simple to learn about. It's really not that hard. Like, it's a basic concept. Acid and alkaline, guys. Fruits alkaline. Our bodies are alkaline based. You got to match them up. If you eat acid, which is high protein, meat and dairy, beans, grains, anything high protein, and anything cooked especially, no other animal cooks their food, is acidic. So the more acidic you eat, the more you're going to get inflammation. You're going to get backed up, lymphatic stagnation, inflammation. Those are the two biggest causes of disease, which is made up. Anyway, this turned into a general healing video. But guys, one of the most important things you can learn about in your entire life, in any aspect, is literally detoxification and acids and alkalines and how the body works. Because you can take hold of your health. It doesn't matter what health problem you have. It's the same cause. It's the same exact cause. It's acidosis. Is the buildup of acid from our high acid diet. Because we're not supposed to eat pretty much anything that's on TV, anything the schools give the kids, anything they tell us to eat, we're not supposed to eat. We're only supposed to eat raw fruits and vegetables. That's it. Mostly fruit. Because we're frugivores, we're tropical species. And when we do that, we can reverse the acidosis, inflammation, and lymphatic stagnation, get our kidneys filtering, which is what I'm trying to do. Just keep chipping away at it. And we can heal and repair things that we were told by the medical communities we couldn't repair. Medical doctors I told this story many times, but it's just ridiculous. They took my tonsils out when I was 18 because they kept getting inflamed, and getting tonsillitis, and they get hurt really bad. I couldn't even eat or swallow. And instead of telling me to stop drinking dairy, eat so much cheese and meat, high protein, because they don't know what the hell's going on. They chopped out my tonsils, which is the most important freaking lymphatic glands that drain your whole head. They took them out. That's so stupid. And when I need to reverse the high acidic diet I had into alkaline, and I could have healed them. You can heal all that shit. You can break apart tumors. You can reverse inflammation. Arthritis is inflammation. You can get rid of that shit. Doesn't matter what age you are. You just gotta, you're gonna, the older you are, I mean, it might be a little harder. You're gonna have a lot more acidosis, most likely. And it's crazy, guys. I just keep going. But the younger generations are getting sicker and sicker. If you just go watch a couple of Dr. Morse's videos. It doesn't matter who you are. Learning about this should be taught in school. Detoxifications, acids, and alkaline. If this was taught in school, guys, there would be no hospitals. There would be no doctor's office. There would be no pharmacies. There'd only be like maybe very small, excuse me, emergency, like real emergency room type deals. That would be all you would need, because everybody would know how to fix themselves. They would know how to eat correctly. I mean, we know there's always people who probably won't eat correctly, but having that information, like, I got something wrong with me, I'll just go get some grapes. But they can cure everything with grapes. The same thing, all fruit. With alkaline. So yeah, get on the fruit. And yeah, if you want to heal people like Jesus, I guess, you know what I mean, you want to be a psychic surgeon, you're gonna have to start meditating hardcore, guys. I mean, hardcore. You're gonna have to be like, all right, I don't care about any of this non-attachment. I'm gonna forget everyone I've ever known. I don't care about my cats anymore. I gotta go in a cave. I'm just gonna shut it off for 30 years. Don't bother me. What am I gonna eat? That's what I was saying. Well, if you're in a cave for 30 years, did you have someone bringing you food? Or are you eating the crickets and the cave moss? I don't know. Or are you pissing? I don't know. Is there like you find a spot in the cave, like a little hole that you can just piss and it goes right down? I don't know, maybe. But 30 years, yeah, you're probably gonna have to do some serious meditating if you want to heal people by touching them. Otherwise, you gotta learn about the fruit and detoxification, guys. That's the natural way to heal. Or learn about the herbs, the power of herbs. Herbs have the power to, strengthen and help us get filtering and all that good stuff. All right, guys. I hope you have a great day. Yeah, peace, peace, peace.